So today is all about celebrating Meersbrook Hall, about its rich cultural past and future plans for turning it into a place that will be a thriving community resource. The Ruskin Museum was here for 63 years from 1890 to 1953. So it's this remarkable collection of minerals, architectural casts, illustrated manuscripts, drawings, paintings in the hall, so that everybody who lived near here could just go and visit it. It was visited by thousands of people over those years. So what we want to do is bring that history out today. John Ruskin really believed in the value of people being involved in arts, crafts, the connection with nature, so obviously the connection with the park is really important.
I'm Janet Barnes. I used to be the curator of the Ruskin Gallery, which was on Norfolk Street, that probably some of you will remember. But I've been involved with the Guild of St George, who actually own that collection for many, many years. And in fact, I was responsible for receiving the collection when it came back to Sheffield in 1981. So it's very interesting for me to see this building here, because this obviously was the home of the Ruskin Museum from 1890 to 1950. Obviously it was the same collection, so those of you who know the gallery will know, you have in your mind's eye some idea of the variety of the stuff that Ruskin collected and gave to the people of Sheffield back in 1875. He was most impressed by the skilled artisans who were working in the metalworking industry in Sheffield, and he felt that they needed to have access to some of the things that actually had been some of the items that had influenced his own life. He was a very well-off son of a sherry merchant called, now I'm sure some of you remember Demek Sherry, and they were Demek, Ruskin and Telford, the original company that provided him with an independent income. So he toured Europe, he went to Venice and Italy and the Alps and France, and he was very interested in art and architecture. And as a very skilled draftsman, he would paint and draw. He gathered all these things together, including plaster casts of bits of building that he thought people in Sheffield should see. And they obviously weren't going to get to Venice or Rouen Cathedral. So he actually had plaster casts made of bits of carving, medieval carving, that he thought people in Sheffield would want to know about. So what you see in the collection is really his life and his life experiences and his life interests, from geology to illuminated manuscripts, architecture that I've mentioned, but also how glaciers were formed. I mean, he was a very eclectic, interested person. So he collected all this stuff and he delivered it to this small cottage in Walkley. And the curator there writes in his sort of diary, he says, these boxes just keep on coming. And he could barely find room. They were all up the stairs. So by the time 1889 came along, really the museum was too small. And the council were very, very interested at that time, because the population of Sheffield was just exploding. And as you can see around Meersbrook, lots and lots of houses were being built. And around Walkley, lots and lots of houses were being built to accommodate everyone. And he was in conversation with the council, and they were very interested in how they were going to provide leisure facilities and educational facilities for all these new people. And they started a dialogue that in fact ended up with that collection from Walkley coming here. I can see that actually the council have been quite good to this building, because they haven't really hacked away at anything. They've just covered it up, or they've just divided it. And you can see, those of you on this side, you can see behind the Georgian glass, there's a little archway. So they started to sort of immortalise him by using some of the phrases from his voluminous writings that were pertinent to his philosophy.
We're working with Heeley Development Trust and Friends of Meersbrook Hall to try and help return that to a place where there will be a cafe, workspaces, a play group, rooms to hire. So you can sort of see that it will just bring life back to the park in the way that it's being brought to life today. They can come and see work of local makers from Meersbrook, so there's quite a thriving artistic community here, and it's seeing that people can make a living around here from arts, crafts, whether it's traditional or contemporary. I know he would be pretty delighted, because his vision was always that people would be drawn away from their daily work and actually have access to nature, and he always felt that it was more important for people to love nature than to draw. He said, well, I taught people to draw so that they would learn to love nature, and I think, you know, to see all of this happening today would be sort of fulfilling a lot of his ideals, really. So I think making those connections between the past and the present and these kind of exciting future plans has drawn a lot of people to the park today.